Hello, and welcome to Nuts About Baseball, a podcast that will entertain you with discussions involving everything baseball. I'm your host, Joe Grimme, and I appreciate you joining me. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as I share my passion for the sport we call America's pastime. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Nuts About Baseball. I am your host, Joe Grimme, and today's episode comes out of my Mixed Nuts series, during which I will talk with someone about topics that are not focused around baseball. My guest today is someone that I met through baseball, however, when I was involved in various leagues back in the day. I met him, and he had just started and was growing a league in Boone County primarily called NKB. My interviewee today is David Bay. David and I go way back. We've worked with each other on various occasions through the years. And the reason I'm doing this short little intro is because technology doesn't always work the way that you want it to. We recorded this interview a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, there was an echo, and when I went back to edit my initial interview with him, it was horrible. I couldn't fix it. So he graciously agreed to do the interview a second time, during which I was doing it at my office, and a client came, and I had to deal with my client, so I had to stop and go back. And the initial part of the interview somehow got lost in the transition, and it wasn't of good quality. So, hey, we did it a third time. So I want to thank David Bay for continuing to work with me. And let me give you a little background on him. He is a businessman that grew up here in Northern Kentucky, primarily in Pendleton County. He is not someone who has just come in as a businessman and, thrown his money at this golf course to make it something different. He is homegrown. He is a good man, and everything he touches seems to succeed. He went to the University of Kentucky. He was in the band there. He graduated and started businesses. He's worked through different businesses throughout his career, and he has been successful no matter what he has done. He means well. He has great intentions, and this episode is going to discuss what his plans are for Pendleton Hills. I think you'll enjoy it. It's very exciting. So sit back, relax, and take a listen to my interview with David Bay. So you've been a man who's gone through a lot of different experiences, and now today, the main reasons we're talking would be that you now have purchased Pendleton Hills, and it's gone through some ownership changes over the past several years. Tell me a little bit about how you came about purchasing Pendleton Hills, David.
Sure. The history there, back in, I think it was 2017, I got to the point where I wanted to sell off parts of the existing business that I had and get into something different. And I knew that the Pendleton Country Club, which was the original name, was going through kind of a hard time, and things were not going well over there. And just coincidentally, it's right across the street from where my office has been, the whole time. And then also my dad was on the original board that put the whole place together back in 1967. They started building it, and then 1969 they opened it. With all that in mind, I thought, it's just a fantastic piece of property. I can figure out something, we'll improve golf, we'll do something else there. I knew they had a decent sized clubhouse, but really gravely underutilized. Bought the place in December of 18, and within about 7 months, we constructed an American cuisine restaurant on the inside. They had kind of a kitchenette. We built onto the pro shop to make that bigger, and got that opened up in July of 19. And, we went through a few months. Things were going well. And of course, we all run into COVID in 2020. All right, we dealt with that. We made deliveries to a ridiculously large delivery area around us just to keep people busy. And I didn't want to lay anybody off, and we really weren't making any money out of it, but we were just keeping things rolling, and people certainly appreciated getting the food at home. Golf during that time was fantastic. It was one of the things that you could do during COVID, so that was great.
Sure.
Got into the summer, things were kind of back to normal, and then the second wave of COVID came through. I think it was late November of 20. Got shut down again. So going into 21, we thought, all right, we're going to have our first full year that's going to be normal. You know how it is in business. And, I love comparing sales and data from one year to the next. And it's just really frustrating when you can't do that because of physical changes or you're opening things or closing things. And so I thought, all right, 2021, here we go. We're going to have one full year of normal operations, and I can use these historic numbers going forward. Well, it was July, almost 2 years to the day of when it opened, that I got a knock on the door, middle of the night. It's never good. Opened up the door. It was the sheriff's department, and they said, "Mr. Bay, we're sorry to inform you, but your restaurant burned to the ground."
Wow. That's awful. Yeah.
So we jumped in the car, went up there, and yeah, it didn't take long at all. Nobody was there. Thank goodness. No one was hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was down to the concrete walls and the foundation. Everything was gone. And so we just started thinking about, okay, well, what's next? And had great words of encouragement from a lot of the people that were good customers and members out there. And we just started on a plan to come back. But step one was to think about the insurance policy. We informed our insurance carrier what happened. They came out, did an investigation. There was never any question about what caused the fire. It was a simple, goofy little thing that they could point to. And so they were comfortable with that. Mm-hmm. It was a warming unit that was sitting on top of a stainless steel table, and the power cord was draped between two stainless steel tables, and the casing was worn off. The two positive and negative arced, and the breaker did not trip. So poof, and it was right there in the kitchen, and
wow,
yeah, just went up in smoke. So
yeah,
I hired a company to come out and work the claim. You're an insurance company. When they come out and the adjuster comes out, they're working on their behalf, not yours. So
right. Sure.
I thought, let's get a second opinion, because it was a large claim, and they came back with a number. And then from that point, we fought with them for almost a year.
Wow.
And they just would not settle. And we eventually got to the point where they threw out a number, and worked with my attorney, going through it and everything. He said, might as well take it. So we took that number, which was approximately half. And, Joe, I was kind of mentally beat up at that point, just dealing with everything. And
yeah, can't imagine.
My first thought was, I'm just going to sell the place.
Yeah.
And so got some ducks in a row to list it in Greater Cincinnati, and did that for a little while. And then one day I thought, if you can't figure this out, it's a gorgeous piece of property, then, you should hang it up as an entrepreneur. So I met back with my staff and said, let's not sell this place. Let's come up with a plan. So the initial plan, and we've massaged it and changed it over the last 2 years of working on it, was to have a campground, also with overnight stay in tiny homes and tree houses, and make it entertainment driven campground so people could come out and they could play golf also. And we would have a 2-story clubhouse with a band playing every night. The upper story in the restaurant would be like a Nashville style multi-story restaurant with, bands playing.
Mm-hmm.
So got a consultant involved. Terrific company came in. They looked at Cincinnati, they looked at Lexington and our area, came back with a feasibility study that was very positive, and started the ball rolling along those lines. So after some time working on that, my attorney, he said, hey, you might be thinking about this wrong. And I said, well, what are you talking about? And he said, you really ought to look at some golf stay and plays. And I said, well, I was counting that some of the business would be stay and play, with the golf course. Mm-hmm. He said, no, why don't you look at it hard, like make that the focus? I said, okay, well, did some more numbers crunching and got another feasibility study done with the difference. And there was a lot of the change that I really liked about doing golf stay and play. And, all along it was going to be a destination resort. So this is a big deal. This is a big, big project. But when we look at the focus being stay and play and we look at selling packages, being in the restaurant business, one of the frustrations is, especially on the off nights, or let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, you may have great weather and just a few people show up, or you may have great weather and for whatever reason, everybody just decides to go out and eat. Mm-hmm. And it's really tough to schedule and to prep and have everything running smoothly. And I got to thinking about these packages and the concept of stay and play. And I thought, we're going to know almost within a time frame of, say, 15 to 30 minutes exactly when they come in from the turn for snacks, and then also when they're ready to have their dinner. Mm-hmm. And I thought, and we're going to know how many people are going to be here.
Yeah.
we can predict our audience. Now we're still going to be open for the public as far as restaurants concerned and all that. So we'll still have a little bit of that, but the bulk of what we're going to be doing is will be scheduled. And I was talking to my restaurant person and said, hey, do you realize that this is the way it's going to look like? This is going to be terrific.
Mm-hmm. You have memberships, correct, right now?
Yeah, we do. We have memberships now, and we're open to the public now. So going forward, people that join and they become members, I'm going to do the very best I can to keep their membership low because of them honoring the transition and never stepping away. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that, and one of the big questions I had early on was, well, why don't you just put back what you had there? And I said, well, that's a great question. It certainly makes sense, but here are the hard facts and here are the round numbers. Let's say I was into the place for $1 million to begin with. And, right at the time of the fire, the 12 months leading up to the fire, we were right at a break even with double-digit increases coming with golf and with restaurant, and everything was pointed and headed in the right direction. Mm-hmm. Now, if we go back and we build exactly what we had there, but we make a little bit of a correction in the kitchen because we needed it for it to be larger, then I'm looking at $2.5 million instead of $1 million. And I haven't done anything to change the revenue side. We haven't picked up any new revenue.
Yeah, numbers don't make sense then.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It does not work. And for years, growing up in this county and wanting this county to succeed, and I kept, asking myself, well, what do you do out here? Industry's not the answer, point blank, period, mm-hmm. For multiple reasons, but we can't get industry out here. So what you have to build is something for the people that are here, but people that come in from the outside pay for it.
Yeah.
And, that's one of the reasons we're going so strong with the golf stay and play. We're going to have people come in and they're going to, quote unquote, pay for it. But us as locals will be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now, the open play golf will go away. We won't be able to do that anymore, but we're going to be able to have member play with our golf.
So you'll no longer be open to the public where I can call and get a tee time?
No, we won't, because those tee times, of the value shoots through the roof when you're talking about, the packages and having people stay and all that. So
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, we won't be able to do that, but you could get online and book a night on a weekday weekend to come and buy a package, have a dinner and breakfast and overnight stay and all that.
Gotcha. Memberships are pretty reasonable from what I can remember.
They're way, way, way more than reasonable right now.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just keeping things, very low, and when we build back and when we get started building and build back and get open, the memberships are drastically going to increase for new members. My goal is to keep current members that have stayed with us, along the whole time, keep their rates low. So it greatly will help people to get in and get a membership now, because on down the road, it'll be very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Again, for new members.
Sure. The facility is phenomenal. The course has been in great shape the past few times I've played it. Food's great. Your staff is wonderful. I've hosted a couple golf outings out there, and you guys have been wonderful to work with. You still do golf outings, right?
We do, and we're going to continue to do those in the future. They'll look a little bit different, but the bottom line outcome to the organizations will be incredible. I mean, we're looking at some really cool things, with having the golf stay and play. That'll be an option for people that are staying, is to play in the outing. Their money that they bring to us for the stay and play, will donate or give a part of their fee that they paid us to that golf outing to play in a golf outing. So it's a win-win for everybody.
And I think we talked offline a little bit about some other amenities that you're going to have. I think you're going to have some simulators and maybe an indoor putting green. Refresh my memory.
Yeah, you're right. When I was looking at this, I thought, you look at the competition and you look at what they offer. And I'm a huge fan. If you're building a new business, if you can build something physically different and attractive to that audience that your competition doesn't have, it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do an incredible job with customer service and experience and all that. Those are all the soft things that we can do great with, but anybody else could do that as well if they choose to. But when it comes to physical buildings and assets and offerings, those are things that you can do differently. So as I was looking at this, I was thinking, what happens to a golf trip where you get 4 guys, 8 guys, 16 guys, whatever, to go, and you have really bad weather when you get there, to the point where one day you can't even play, or half a day you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, why don't we have enough stuff here that if that is the case, people are still thrilled and they're not stuck in their hotel, or not stuck in their tiny home or whatever, just looking at each other playing cards. But
right. I mean, that's fun, but to a certain extent, you're there to play golf.
Yeah, you want to play golf.
Mm-hmm.
And if you totally get rained out, you can only play so many card games. So I thought, yeah, well, with the entertainment, let's have a really cool restaurant that's scratch cooking. So the food's going to be wonderful. And people, guys can come in there and watch the games if it's rained out. Or they could go to the golf simulator room, play one of the golf simulators, or get on the putting green. We're looking at Putt View that would integrate with the simulators. So your standard simulator, once you get on the green, you're about done.
Right.
And what this would do is transfer over to an actual physical green that you would putt out your hole.
Wow, that's nice.
Where you land on the green, it projects a light. So, basically put your ball here and putt towards this hole, and the trajectory would be somewhat similar to the hole that you're on. So that indoor pool, also pickleball courts, amphitheater, also a gym, and would not be a gym like you see at most hotels, nor would it be a Planet Fitness, but it's going to be somewhere in between. So a decent amount of equipment where you can go in there and get a real workout and be done. And then we're also looking at a possibility of a spa also.
That's a lot. I can't even imagine how long it's going to take. Do you have some sort of projection as to when you might hopefully break ground and start construction, and two, when that might all come to a completion date?
So over the last couple of years of working on this, obviously we wanted it to happen faster than not, and we've had delays. We have some government funding, a USDA loan, which is kind of, I will say it's pre-approved, but it's already been vetted. And the tricky parts there was they don't lend to golf courses. So
a little risky business, I guess.
Well, it was kind of like, okay, so how do we get over that hurdle? And the guy that I'm working with on that is tremendous. I mean, that's all they do. They got about 20 different USDA deals at any given time. So he's works with the USDA statewide through most of the United States, and then also on a federal level. Mm-hmm. And so he just called him up and said, here's the deal. What do you want us to do? They gave the answer. Take the LLC that you have right now, make it the operating company, 2 new LLCs underneath. One would be golf business and the other would be everything else. So you separate it on your books that way. And the second thing was they said you cannot put any new construction on the actual golf course itself. We're okay with that, but one of the reasons for a delay is that we're also entertaining some banks that are taking a look at it for more conventional lending.
Yeah.
And also looking at some possible private lending as well. So those things are what we're looking at, because if we can do a deal where we have some private lending and we have conventional lending and no government lending, then that allows us to do whatever we want to do, which would be more aesthetically pleasing and easier to operate and provide a little bit better return on down the road, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So the delays, although they were frustrating, we've had some remarkable things happen during the time of the delays. I mean, including another 40 acres that was adjacent to the property that became available, and I purchased it. It's 35 acres of woods with a ranch house down on the road on one end of the property that we're remodeling right now. So that came up. So we added some wonderful property for overnight stay. Then Launch Boom, which is another incredible thing. We're actually marketing right now, and we have been for a few months, about the project and getting email addresses collected so that when we do a launch and we put our packages out there for sale, we'll have an audience that's baited and ready to make their purchase decision before it's even open.
Would it be smart for someone out there interested in a membership to buy now and not later?
Yeah, big time. And I never do hard sells with anybody, and frankly, there are times where I'm not doing the customer a favor by not hard selling them, because it's kind of one of those things like, well, I wish you would have told me, and I was like, well, I did, but
right. Yeah.
So what you're going to have over there are these incredible amenities that you cannot find on any other golf course anywhere close to us. And the outdoor pool right now on the projections is coming in at $1 million.
Wow.
For the outdoor pool just by itself. It's big.
Jeez.
So there's going to be incredible food. There's going to be incredible things to do there with the fitness center. Nothing like it for 15 miles around. Then, the indoor pool, hot tub, the game room, the simulators, it really just goes on and on. So members can get in and have a very low price going forward. Some people would look at it today and say, well, the membership's too much for what's there. It's really not, but they may be comparing it to AJ Jolly that's county funded, and it doesn't matter if they make money or not because that's county owned. But when you look at any other decent golf course, and by the way, it's hard to find another golf course anywhere close to us that has better greens than we do. The greens are terrific.
Yep.
Staff's terrific. So when you take that in consideration, no, the price today is not too high. When we get opened up, your price is going to be way lower than people that join at that time.
So the stay and play packages, you're trying to get the word out now through your marketing, and I've seen quite a bit of it. How would someone get on those email lists to stay informed, to potentially get in as a future member and or purchaser of these packages?
It would be pendletonproject.com. That's PENDLETON project.com. And you'll see the landing page there, and we're taking reservations. There's a $50 charge for a reservation that is refundable. You might say, well, why the heck are you doing that? Well, this list of people that we're compiling right now will be the first ones to be able to book at Pendleton Hills when it opens. And I do not expect after we do this that there will be any openings after that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we already have 5,000 email addresses.
Wow.
So we have, when you get on there, you can leave your email address and say, yeah, it looks good to me. Keep me informed. But you also can do a $50 purchase to have a seat at the table.
Okay.
And the people that will have a seat at the table will be the ones that will have first dibs at picking, they'll have first dibs of getting their reservation. When we know when we're open, we're going to contact those people in order of purchase, and they'll have their first dibs on choosing dates.
Okay.
So the 5,000 email addresses that we have right now are people that said, yeah, I'm interested, keep me in the loop. So there's going to be a time in the future where we say, okay, our launch is coming up in 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 hours, whatever. And a lot of those people at that point will purchase the $50 to be informed first. Gotcha. And the company that we're working with does this. That's their whole business, is doing this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they said, not to worry about numbers right now. If you have 5,000 email addresses, you're going great. But when it's all said and done, I mean, our goal is to get between, say, 35 and 40,000 email addresses.
Well, it's April. Do you think and hope, well, I know you hope, but you think you'll break ground this year?
Yeah, I hope we do. Things are kind of coming together here, and the last week and the next 2 weeks are critical, and things are all heading in the right direction. And we think we've got a nice choice as far as the construction's concerned with the contractor. And yeah, I believe that, I hope and believe that we'll get started this year.
Good. Well, it's still in good working order. I know you suffered that horrible fire and had to shift all of your capabilities to the, I guess, call it the farmhouse. Is that what you would call that?
Carriage house.
Carriage house, yeah, that you shifted everything to the carriage house. And you've done a great job of being able to handle things through that location. I've been there several times, and I don't want people out there to think that you're, down. You're up, you're running, everything's functioning just as normal, and you guys do a great job. And the plans that you have for this new project are phenomenal. I'm anxious to see them come to fruition. Anything else that you want to kind of get out there to the listeners to pique their interest or keep them informed?
Well, I certainly appreciate all the, the comments there, and we absolutely do try real hard. One thing that over the years, 38 of them, I can't believe it's been that long, but after being in business for 38 years now, I have had fantastic staff the whole time, just from one thing to another, and some of them end up following me when we move from one business to another.
Yeah.
So we have a terrific staff. If you come out, you're going to see friendly faces and all that. And we're improving the golf course every year. So you're going to have a good game when you come out. So yeah, I would encourage everybody to come out and give us a try. And first thing I think a lot of people look at is they'll say, well, it's so far out there. And then I say, well, wait a minute, you routinely go from downtown Cincinnati to Mason, Ohio. Well, it's about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
But you're not fighting the traffic.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. So depending on where you live, of course, but from the river out here, it's about a half an hour.
Yeah.
And Cold Spring, you're looking at about 25 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. US 27 can get crowded, but it's certainly not as bad as I-75. That's for sure.
Right.
Well, one last question. I didn't plan to ask this, but I'm going to shoot from the hip. These musical performances, is David Bay going to be one of those nightly performances with his musical expertise?
Absolutely not, Joe. How many people are going to line up to hear the French horn?
Do you think that would deter potential patrons, huh?
Yeah. No, I guess, if people hang around too late one night, I can get it out and make everybody scatter.
Well, never say never. I'd like to see that. Maybe get some of your fellow alumni band members in there. That'd be great.
Hey, maybe we could have a UK alumni, night where there's a big game going on. Like seriously, we might just do that where we have the alumni pep band, at the place for a big UK game.
Oh, absolutely. That would be something that people would come to see. Well, David, I appreciate your time. You've been a good friend for several years. We've kept in contact, even though we've gone our separate ways regarding the baseball leagues that we were in charge of. But I want to continue this friendship. I'm going to stay informed with Pendleton Hills, and I'm anxious to see that this takes form very soon and hopefully has great success because you're a great person. You do a good job in everything that you touch, and I'm sure that this is going to succeed as well.
Well, thanks, Joe. Back at you. It was great working with you back in the day on baseball. And I know that you did a fantastic job for all the players and parents that you were involved with. So thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. David Bay with Pendleton Hills.